If a woman hugs you in a certain way, it's easy to dismiss it as casual, polite, or meaningless, but that would be a mistake, because hugs are one of the most revealing forms of nonverbal communication in female psychology, often expressing emotions she may not consciously admit or verbally express. And when you understand the subtle details of how she hugs you, how long she holds you, how her body positions itself, and what happens in the moments before and after the embrace, you begin to read emotional truth more accurately than words ever could. Because women are generally more emotionally expressive through behavior rather than direct statements. And a hug, unlike flirting or conversation, is instinctive, unfiltered, and emotionally honest. For example, when a woman hugs you tightly with her full body rather than just her arms, especially if her chest presses lightly against you and her head naturally settles into your shoulder or chest, this is rarely accidental, as this type of hug activates vulnerability and comfort simultaneously, signaling that she feels emotionally safe with you and unconsciously trusts your presence, which is significant because emotional safety is one of the strongest precursors to romantic attachment. And when this hug lingers just a few seconds longer than necessary, it often means she is savoring the connection rather than simply greeting or saying goodbye. Contrast this with a quick, polite hug where her body remains stiff and her hips stay back. This is social courtesy, not emotional closeness. But when her hips align naturally with yours and her arms wrap around you firmly rather than loosely, it shows acceptance and openness on a deeper level, especially if her breathing slows during the hug, which is a sign her nervous system is relaxing in your presence. Another powerful detail is hand placement, because when a woman places her hands higher on your back or even gently squeezes during the hug, it indicates emotional investment, whereas low, grief contact often indicates distance or formality. And if she rubs your back slowly or taps lightly, this is a subconscious nurturing gesture rooted in comfort and affection, not something done casually. Now pay attention to how she enters the hug. Does she step closer before you initiate, or does she hesitate? Because when she moves toward you first, even slightly, it means her body wants the connection before her mind filters it. And female psychology often reveals desire through movement before intention. Eye behavior matters too, because if she closes her eyes during the hug, it suggests she is emotionally present in the moment rather than distracted. And if she exhales deeply as she leans into you, it signals relief, calm, and trust, as though your presence allows her to momentarily let go of emotional tension. One of the most revealing hugs is the sideways hug that slowly turns frontal, because it often begins as socially safe and unconsciously shifts into something more intimate, revealing internal conflict between social restraint and emotional pull. Even the release of the hug matters. If she pulls away slowly, maintaining light contact for a moment longer, or smiles softly without immediately speaking, it shows lingering emotional warmth, whereas abrupt separation indicates emotional boundaries. Many men misunderstand female affection because they expect clarity through words, but women often communicate feelings through subtle physical cues, especially when they are unsure how you feel or fear disrupting the dynamic, and hugging becomes a safe outlet for expressing closeness without verbal risk. Timing also plays a crucial role. If she hugs you during moments of emotional intensity, vulnerability, or shared silence, rather than just greetings, it often means she sees you as a source of emotional grounding. And when a woman seeks physical closeness during emotionally charged moments, it suggests deeper attachment forming beneath the surface. Another overlooked signal is repetition, because a woman who finds excuses to hug you frequently, even briefly, is reinforcing emotional familiarity, and familiarity is the foundation of intimacy, especially when each hug becomes slightly warmer or longer over time. The psychology behind this is rooted in oxytocin, the bonding hormone released during prolonged touch, which strengthens emotional connection and trust, meaning her body may be responding emotionally before she consciously acknowledges it.
However, context matters deeply, because a woman who hugs everyone warmly may simply be affectionate by nature, but the difference lies in consistency and exclusivity. Does she hug you differently than others? Does she linger longer with you? Does her tone soften afterward? These contrasts reveal intention. Another subtle yet powerful sign is when she leans her head toward your neck or collarbone, an area associated with closeness and vulnerability, because this placement exposes her to your scent and warmth, both of which increase subconscious bonding. Silence during a hug is also meaningful, because when she doesn't rush to speak or joke, it means the moment itself is fulfilling enough, and comfort in silence is a strong indicator of emotional depth. It's important to understand that not every meaningful hug equals romantic interest, but it almost always reflects emotional significance, and emotional significance is often the doorway through which attraction grows. Many women test emotional safety before allowing romantic vulnerability, and hugs serve as a bridge between platonic connection and deeper intimacy, allowing her to gauge how she feels around you without committing to words. If she hugs you when she's stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, it means she associates you with emotional relief, which is a powerful psychological association that strengthens attachment over time. Equally important is how she reacts if the hug ends sooner than expected. Does she pull you back slightly or seem reluctant to let go? These micro-reactions are often more honest than anything she might say. Female psychology values emotional resonance over logic, and hugs are moments where emotional truth bypasses rational filters. However, the biggest mistake men make is overreacting or changing behavior immediately after interpreting a hug as a signal, because attraction grows through emotional consistency, not pressure. And when a woman senses that you remain grounded, calm, and emotionally present without rushing or forcing meaning, it deepens her sense of safety. The goal is not to analyze every hug obsessively, but to observe patterns, emotional tone, and progression over time, because true interest reveals itself through repetition and escalation, not isolated moments. Ultimately, when a woman hugs you in a way that feels warm, present, and emotionally connected, it means she is letting her guard down in a world where emotional vulnerability is not given lightly. And understanding this allows you to respond with emotional intelligence rather than confusion or assumption, because the most attractive response to unspoken affection is quiet confidence, emotional awareness, and patience. Hugs speak the language of the nervous system, not the mouth, and when you learn to read that language, you stop guessing and start understanding what she feels, even when she hasn't found the words yet.